Hey everybody, it's Charlie and Alyssa from Daily Motor. It's time for a little ownership update on our 2021 Tesla Model Y standard range. Now, we were planning on doing this about 10,000 miles into ownership, but we just rolled over 13,000. So in just 7 months of ownership, we've put 13,000 miles on this car, on the car that Elon Musk said doesn't have enough range. We've obviously proven that wrong. Road tripping, daily driving, not really any sort of compromise for the fact that we only have this 244 miles of EPA estimated range. So this video is just going to go over kind of what it's been like to own the car, any sort of good things, bad things, things that have stuck out to us after half a year of ownership, and kind of what we've liked about it and how life has been with the standard range Model Y. So a quick little recap, if you haven't seen any of our other videos, we picked this car up the very first day it was offered for sale. We ordered it. We were one of the very first with a standard range Model Y. This was the cheapest Tesla Model Y that they made. We paid about $42,000. It has no options. Basic white paint, black interior, no tow hitch, no full self-driving, just a cheap Model Y. Over that time, we have spent $0 in maintenance. We have rotated the tires at 6250 when Tesla recommends it. No sorts of oil changes, obviously, any other sorts of maintenance. We are on a new set of tires as of about 13,000 miles. Our Continental Pro Contact RX OEM tires weren't exactly wore out, but we wanted to do a little bit of an experiment. We wanted to test 19-inch wheels to 18-inch wheels. So you can see right here, we actually have some 18-inch Model 3 wheels with Continental Extreme Contact DWS 06 Plus ultra high performance all-season tires, and we have the exact same rubber on the car now on the 19-inch wheels as well. So if you want to see our comparison on what it's like going from a 19-inch tire to an 18-inch wheel and tire, check the link in the description when it goes live. We're going to have that video coming up here soon. We're also going to be talking about what it's like going to an ultra high performance summer tire from the OEM tires. Other than that, no sort of maintenance costs for the Model Y. We simply plug it in and drive. Speaking of that, over the entire lifetime of the car, we have averaged 272 watt-hours per mile. That's just under 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, and this is in all sorts of mixed driving. Alyssa uses it a lot for daily commuting, errands, that sort of thing, but we've also taken a ton of road trips. We've taken trips to North Carolina, Northern Michigan, Western Michigan, Ohio, all around the Midwest, if you will, a little bit of the South. This thing has been a great road tripper. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the car with how road tripping has been, plugging in, that sort of thing, but we also have some dedicated videos on road trips with the standard range Model Y. We have added some floor mats from Bouge RV, so that has been a little bit of an improvement. You can see these are heavy duty, kind of all weathery sort of rubberized floor mats. Those go in the front and the rear. Those have saved us a few times, not only from dirty shoes, rainy boots, that sort of thing, but one time we were in the car and spilled a bunch of chocolate milk in the back here. And fortunately, the grooves in the mat and the deep wells kept it all off the carpet. Definitely saved us from a cleaning disaster. Future plans for the car, we do plan on getting a tow hitch, so that'll be $1,200 installed by Tesla. Yes, there are some cheaper aftermarket options, but we want to get the tow mode and kind of further add to the usability of our car. But it's been great having the SUV layout, having the crossover, all the storage space, everything's super usable. We've gotten large TVs in here. We've gotten 2 sets of tires. That was impressive. A whole bunch of camping gear. Overall, it's just been really impressive. We always know we have enough space. Even if we have 3 people in the car, we can head out for a weekend camping or vacationing between the underfloor storage, the side storage. It's definitely nice to have all the space of the Model Y. Overall, we've been happy with the car. I mean, it works really well as a daily driver. I was talking to one of my friends recently who had a Model 3 and then switched over to a Model Y, and he says he does miss a little bit the sportiness feeling of the Model 3. It's a little more efficient, but when it comes down to 95% of his daily usage, getting in and out of the car, sitting up a little bit higher, having that extra usability space, he just prefers the Y. And I think Alyssa and I are kind of at that point too of like, this car does so well to fit everything we would need from a vehicle.
Yeah.
You use it with all sorts of daily driving, grocery getting, appointments, and you love being able to just zip around from what you've told me.
Yeah, it's really responsive and it's amazingly fast. And I really love having as much space as I could ever need without having to worry about, is something that I want to get not going to fit in here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's also nice that we save about $100, give or take, per month on electricity, or rather fuel costs, compared to your previous vehicle.
Yeah.
Especially now that gas here in the U.S. is creeping up. We're talking well over $3 for regular gas per gallon. And our electricity rate has stayed the same.
Yeah, that's a huge plus.
And when it comes to road tripping, it helps that we have a good amount of free supercharging thanks to Tesla's referral system. Every time that somebody orders a Tesla using our referral code, we get a free 1,000 miles of supercharging. So we have about 11 or 12,000 miles built up total, and that makes it so anytime we take this car to go on a road trip, it's essentially free.
Yeah. Can you imagine having a vehicle that is large enough to have all of your luggage, everything that you need for when you're going on a road trip, and not having to pay a penny in gas?
Yeah.
I honestly, that is 100% the selling point for me, not having to spend $3, $4 per gallon on gas.
Right. And yes, obviously for an average user, it's not going to be built up with all that supercharging. It would cost something, but it's still cheaper than using gasoline.
Yeah.
Even supercharging, as long as you're driving somewhat reasonably, it's still going to be cheaper and more consistently priced than gas. Speaking of road trips, we do obviously have to stop and charge, but we've found that for most trips, unless you're in a really big hurry to get somewhere, most trips with most destinations on highways, you don't mind stopping, especially someone like Alyssa who likes to stop, get some, use the bathroom, maybe get something to eat or drink. Stopping every hour and a half to 2 hours is totally fine.
Yeah. And you're not stopping really any longer than 20 to 30 minutes at any given time.
No.
And it's not like every stop is going to be 30 minutes long either.
No.
So depending on where your next supercharger or charger at all is, you can stop and say you charge at the first one for 30 minutes. Then you have a little bit of a cushion the next one. Maybe you only stop for 10. Maybe you only stop for 15 minutes.
Yep.
So that makes it very digestible, the stopping and charging, as well as the driving portion of your road trip as well.
And not to sound all high and mighty in a Tesla, but there have been multiple times when we've been stopped at a supercharger, we pull in, we plug in, we get out, and we see an Electrify America charger nearby, and there's either a Mach-E or a Chevy Bolt, and they're sitting there at the charger, not plugged in.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to figure out, they're getting out of their car and everything, trying to get the charger working. We experienced that with the Mach-E.
Yes.
6 different attempts to get 2 charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was just a simple little 2-hour road trip with the Mach-E, and there was a real moment of panic where it was like,
are we going to make it home?
Are we going to be able to make this home, because this is not charging?
Yeah.
Yeah. But with the Tesla supercharger network, it is always 100% of the time perfect.
We have never once gone to a supercharger and had it be full.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it happens, especially out in California, things like that, but for us around here in the Midwest, it's been total non-issue.
Yeah.
You do still have to plan your road trips. And things, for example, we're going out to Alyssa's parents here next week, and typically we just have the car charged up to 80%. But the night before, when we go out to plan on going out there, maybe even the morning of, we'll have to remember to boost the charge up to 100. And it's not that we wouldn't make it if we did that, but it's just going to make it so we have to charge less.
Right.
We have to hit a supercharger for maybe an extra 6 minutes or so if we didn't, charge it up first, all the way to 100. So you have to make sure you know your routes. If you're going to go somewhere really remote, it might be tougher to do that. Things like when we went camping with this car, I had to charge not only enough to get to the campsite, but also enough to get back from the campsite. But again, it ended up working out totally fine because you and I took that opportunity to go shopping for camping at the last supercharger. So our car had more than enough juice after we were done shopping anyway, because a lot of the superchargers are at Meijer's or grocery stores, convenience stores, nice restaurant areas, things like that. It's not like they're just plopped randomly on the highway. Speaking of mapping, overall the Tesla map does work really well and it's powered by Google Maps. However, the navigation is not as smart as just using Google Maps. For example, we had the Polestar 2 recently and that had straight up Google Maps in it. You could look up a destination and you're getting the exact same navigation as you would get using Google Maps on your phone. That's not the case for the Tesla. And Alyssa, you use mapping a little bit more in it and you've experienced just some weird navigational things, right? Like it'll be different from your phone and you got to kind of double check.
Yeah, when I first started using Tesla's mapping system, I actually also had my phone using the same map on Google Maps as a backup, just to make sure that I had the right address in there and it wasn't going to take me to some entirely different city. I had to make sure I had an eye on it.
Right. Yeah, it's not quite as bad as Apple Maps, but maybe somewhere there in between.
Right, and I do not use Apple Maps.
But the navigation screen does look good and it works well. We like you having it as a map. Another thing it doesn't do is waypoints. It's very frustrating that you can't just put in 5 different locations. I want to go here, but I want to get there and there. Or more importantly, say we wanted to go to a destination 150 miles away and then after that go to another destination 150 miles away. We would need to know like where to charge for all those, and you just can't do that with Tesla's mapping. So what we use is an app called A Better Route Planner. They've got a website, they have an application, and you can actually put in the specs of your car and where you want to go, maybe any sort of waypoints. Do I want to be stopped here for any sort of time? Lots of different parameters, and that'll allow you to more fine-tune and better plan for your route. That's why it's called A Better Route Planner.
If Elon is watching at all, please program waypoints into your mapping system. That would be huge. My job relies on multiple stops at many different locations. So that would be hugely helpful.
Yep. Overall, the interior has held up very well. We've got a little bit of separation right up here with between those two pieces. We did get a small chip in the windshield, unfortunately. Okay. Just a bit of a scuff, not actually enough to be filled. It does take a little bit of effort to keep this piano black clean, but we've done a decent job at it. Other than that, everything's held up really well. Nothing is broken.
No, nothing is broken.
There's still a little bit, I think this was kind of how it was new, but a little bit of separation there. Yes. We have put some very subtle scratches in the upholstery from the garage door opener because Teslas don't come baked in with HomeLink.
Yeah.
You can get them from the dealer, but it's like $400.
Just a heads up for those of you that want to have your garage door opener here, be very careful that it is going to scuff up this interior here.
Interestingly, with the super hot car market that we've got right now and the semiconductor shortage and Tesla supply shortage, used car market is crazy, and we could get much more than we paid for this car if we were to sell it. I actually got an offer from Vroom, an online car sales place, and they offered us $48,000 for this car, as is with 13,000 miles on it, in the condition that it's in. And we've talked about selling it, but we don't really know what we'd replace it with. I mean, the cheapest Model Y at this point is $52,000.
Wow.
I would be fairly interested in getting a Model 3, but even that, we'd have to wait until November to get a new one.
Wow.
So even though we could make money, yes, what are we going to replace it with that's this efficient, this fun to drive, this practical?
This cost effective.
Yeah. I mean, it saves us money. We obviously can make a ton of YouTube videos on it. I still enjoy driving it a bunch, even with all the different cars. I mean, we've got a GT500 Mustang right now, and I still like driving this around, especially because it's so much cheaper than the 9 miles per gallon on premium that the GT500 gets.
Yeah.
I like the sound system. I like the infotainment. I like the comfort of the seats. I've never gotten uncomfortable sitting in these seats, even for long road trips.
Yeah.
I like the materials. I do wish that the big glass roof had some sort of covering on it, so I do keep a hat in the car, and Alyssa is usually pretty good with her sunglasses. I mean,
I would not want to replace this with anything else.
Yeah.
We have multiple cars every week. There is something new. So we've seen, and Charlie has a very extensive history and knowledge of so many different cars, and there still is not anything we would replace this with.
I do really like the Mach-E. I think it's more comfortable and it's quieter, but I don't care for the interior quite as much. I do not like the infotainment, and then you get into the whole Tesla supercharger network, and that really kind of seals the deal.
Does not have.
Yeah.
And I think out of all of those things, how you charge your car when you're on the road and you're road tripping is the most important thing to think of.
Right. I should know one thing that we have noticed going a little bit wrong is sometimes at certain fan speeds, there's a little bit of a clicking sound from the front HVAC fan. And it does get mad at you. Some of the warning sounds when you get close to lines can get annoying. There are a good amount of little annoyances that you go like, yeah, fine with this car.
We have contemplated, not seriously enough though, taking off the noise-making safety features. It will beep at you if you go over the white or the yellow lines on the road. And at the end of the day, we really don't want to take that off because, you know, the one time that we do need it, we don't have it.
Life with the standard range Model Y has been remarkably smooth and remarkably nice.
Yeah. So
future plans with the car, we've got the 18-inch tire test, as well as more time with these Continental Extreme Contact ultra high performance summer tires. We're expecting to see a little decrease in efficiency, which we did see a little bit on the highway. So we'll have those videos. We do have a sound system test coming out on this probably the day after this video comes out. So unless you're watching it the day it comes out, then the sound test should already be live. It's just kind of like you get in and drive.
Yeah. It's so very easy to drive, so very fun.
We've used our Grizzly charger day in and day out, not only for this car, but also for all the other electric press vehicles we get, and that's been working very nice. Shout out to Teslafy for allowing us to use their application for tracking all of our driving, all of our energy usage. That's definitely nice to geek out on. This isn't necessarily the best driving or the most efficient or the smoothest or most comfortable, but it's the package of everything. The pricing, the efficiency, the usability, the drivability, it all comes together. It's like a solid A-, B+ student, but with everything that kind of comes out to be the most desirable package. And it's a shame that you can't buy this almost $40,000 Model Y anymore because they're not selling it. I assume once supply sort of catches up, Tesla will bring back the standard range Model Y, maybe with a little bit more range, and maybe at that point then it'll be cheaper and people can get into it. But I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm looking forward to 20,000 miles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. We're Charlie and Alyssa from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.